I'm going to share with you today the top 5 things that I've been doing to stay connected to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and stay motivated during the lockdown. Hey everybody, my name is Paul Federici. I'm a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt under PJ O'Sullivan, and I train at a Pura Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy in Hamilton, Ontario, as well as Parabellum MMA in Oakville, Ontario, and I'm here today to answer some of your questions. If you're new to this channel, please take a second to click the subscribe button below. And if you are already a subscriber, please make sure to click the bell icon and you will get notified every time there's a new video. Okay, so I've got a question here from Jordan, and Jordan asks, how am I staying motivated and involved with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu during the lockdown? And this is a great question, and this is one that I'm still trying to work out and figure out on a day-to-day basis. At the beginning, it was really rough. I was not in a good mood. I was feeling very depressed, very anxious, because probably like a lot of you, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a massive part of my life. And to suddenly go from a situation where you're there all the time and that's what you're thinking about and doing primarily to suddenly literally zero is pretty significant. I've had situations in the past where I've had long layoffs, I've been injured. But unlike now, in the past I've been able to work around it by taking on more of a coaching role or being at the gym just to stay part of the community and socialize. Sometimes I've been lucky enough to work around the injuries and work different techniques, but obviously this time, there's really no contact. So it's a whole new ball game, but there are a few things that I've been doing that have really kind of helped turn things around for me. And the first is focusing on a project and or new skill. And so for me, you're basically looking at it, I decided to start a YouTube channel. It wasn't really my intention at first. I wanted to sort of help my gym, so I decided to sort of stockpile and film a bunch of techniques. And so the goal was to release one new technique video a week, and I've held to that. And I'm going to try to continue to release as much content as I can over this period, and we'll see how far it gets. But the intention of starting this channel wasn't to get famous or act like I'm Gordon Ryan. I'm clearly not that, but it's just a way for me to have a sense of momentum and something that gives me a sense of accomplishment. And if some people can get some value out of what I'm saying and doing, then that's awesome. Okay, so primarily for me, the videos have been great, okay, because they've been keeping me connected to jiu-jitsu mentally. And what I've learned over the years with injuries is that's really important. Just because you can't physically do jiu-jitsu doesn't mean that you should just go from 100 to 0. You can still stay connected mentally. And these jiu-jitsu techniques that I've filmed are actually kind of interesting in the sense that I don't normally film myself. I know a lot of competitors and athletes like to film themselves because they want to assess how they're moving, because sometimes there's a big disconnect between what you think you're doing and what you're actually doing. And so that's something I've never really taken advantage of before. And now to have all these videos of me demonstrating techniques, it's allowing me to sort of analyze my own movements a little better and to really break down techniques that I already use quite a bit and to find ways that I can sharpen them, and even just to commentate over them, to break them down, to think more, in a much more methodical, slower, rational way. It's really helped me kind of break things down in a way that's added even more clarity for me to what I've been doing in the past. So the videos have been great. And new skills. I've developed new skills. I'm using Photoshop to edit pictures. I'm using iMovie to edit the videos, so I'm learning video editing, audio editing. I'm using programs like Logic to record the audio, which I'm doing right now. And all these things are positives because I'd like to come out of this with a sense that I've improved in some ways. It doesn't have to be major, it doesn't have to be anything significant, but if you can add a few new skills to your repertoire, then why not? So that's what I've been doing. You don't, like I said, you don't have to have crazy high expectations, but anything to help you feel like you're gaining momentum and being productive, I find has been great for me. Okay, so it's been a great way for me to break up my day. The videos do take a while to edit. You want to sit there and look at them, and To be honest, a lot of times I've made work for myself to try to redo them and try it from this angle, try it from that angle, redo the bullet points, redo the voiceovers. So it's just practice. It's an opportunity to do something other than sit on your couch and watch Netflix, okay? So you can also do something that's not BJJ related, you know? It doesn't have to be jiu-jitsu, you know? You could pick up a new book, you could learn a new subject that's always interested you, you could take an online course, start a journal. There's all kinds of stuff, but I think the key is that you try to stay productive. The second thing I've been doing is watching a lot of old footage and matches, okay? So luckily with technology now, we have a ton of resources at our fingertips. Some of them are gonna be paid and some of them are gonna be free. So obviously that will depend on your budget, but something that I've had a really good experience with is Flow Grappling. Flow Grappling is a great resource. I didn't like it as much in the past because I felt that their search capacity was kind of limited. But now, you know, you can go and find access. They have tons of archived events. They have Fight to Win. They have ADCC events. They have ADCC trials. They have the IBJJF event replays. You know, you can search by, you know, weight, age division, specific grapplers. There's really a ton of content out there, and it's a great way to, you know, even if you don't want to necessarily break down and assess, just watching videos can be really, you know, keep your head in the game, so to speak. The other thing that I've had a lot of success with is watching Fight Pass, UFC Fight Pass, that is. Again, another paid subscription, so if you can't afford it, that's fine. I think it's about $10 a month. But one of the things that got me interested in leg locks and no-gi jiu-jitsu was watching the EBIs, which are the Eddie Bravo Invitationals. There's probably more than 10 of them. Eddie's kind of switched into combat jiu-jitsu, which I'm not crazy about, but the EBIs are submission-only format. It's really kind of where Gordon Ryan got his start, and it's where the leg lock game really started to take off because these Danaher Death Squad guys were suddenly able to, you know, show off their skill set in a non-point scenario. So a lot of great stuff on there that you could watch. I recommend watching the ones that highlight the Danaher Death Squad. There's some that feature Gary Tonin. There's some that feature Gordon Ryan. There's some that have Eddie Cummings in there. And those are the big three that I really learned a lot from. So feel free to watch the whole event, or you can even search individual matches or grapplers if you want. And on Fight Pass, there's a whole MMA library. So if you like mixed martial arts, and maybe you're interested in seeing how some grapplers have fared in the cage, you can do that as well. You can go search people like, you know, Damian Maia. You can go see how he's applied his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to modern mixed martial arts. And there's all kinds of things on there that you can find and watch to keep yourself not only entertained, but whether it's more passive sort of study or more deliberate study, being exposed to jiu-jitsu in the background is still something that I think is very helpful, okay? There's also, obviously, YouTube. So even Flow Grappling has free channels on there. The IBJJF posts free content on there as well. So if you don't have Flow Grappling and you don't have Fight Pass, there's tons of free content on there. Obviously, with something like YouTube or any of these resources, it can be overwhelming, right? Because you're sitting there saying, all right, I want to watch jiu-jitsu, but where do I start? That's the problem when you have a tidal wave of content. And what I think is a good strategy is to focus on a few grapplers. Pick, you know, 2 or 3 people that you admire, who you want to emulate. Maybe that's somebody that competes in the IBJJF. Maybe you like lapel guard. Maybe you like sweeps and passing more. Maybe you like submission only. Maybe you like heel hooks and leg locks and submission-oriented jiu-jitsu. Well, think of a few of those people and then really focus on them when you go to start looking for videos. Don't just type in, you know, anything random. Try to have a bit more strategy to the way you approach it. For me, the other thing that I like to do too is focus on people that I think are fit sort of a little bit more of my body type and my athletic ability. I've always been drawn to somebody like Lachlan Giles because Lachlan admittedly is not the greatest athlete, and he relies a lot on half guard, as do I, and I really like his style and his setup, and his personality seems to be a better fit for me. I love guys like Craig Jones, but Craig Jones is long and lanky and can invert on a dime, and it just, a lot of those techniques just don't translate as well for me. So, I've looked at people like Marcelo Garcia and Lachlan Giles. I really like sort of Marcelo's butterfly game. I like that Marcelo's very versatile gi and no gi. So those are a couple people that I've spent more time looking at than others. So it's a great place to start by doing that. So take kind of an assessment of yourself and see like, well, what am I good at? What am I not so good at? And then go from there. All right. So the third thing I'll say is, this is literally the golden age of DVD instructionals, okay? There is never been a time in jiu-jitsu history where you could literally, spend a couple $100 and learn from the greatest people in the sport. I remember back in the day when it was, everybody was kind of doing the same techniques and things were very secret and it was harder to, find these new techniques. And now it's just people are giving them away. So what I mean by that right now, too, is that during the pandemic, a lot of people are giving away free content. A lot of people are giving out discounts. One that I'll point out is Stephen Kesting at Grapple Arts is offering a free DVD of any of his libraries. So you can go to grapplearts.com. He's a great Canadian OG in the grappling and jiu-jitsu community, a longtime black belt. He's got a ton of content, and he released a DVD series with Oliver Taza on modern leg locks, and I got it, and it's phenomenal. So if you email him, I think the deal is still on, and he's giving away free content for people that are not training or choosing not to train during the lockdown. So try to take advantage of those things, because if you can, stockpile as much as you can right now, because then you'll have enough information to chew on for years. Okay, so Stephen Kesting at Grapple Arts, the Grappler's Guide is offering a deal right now. I think you can get a lifetime subscription to their site for like $80 or something American, which it's constantly being updated. It's got everything from solo drills to curriculum to any guard you can think of. I think it's run by Jason Scully, who's amazing. He's got stuff on YouTube as well. Super knowledgeable guy, a great way to sort of start to have a better layout to how you think about jiu-jitsu. So check that out, I would suggest. BJJ Fanatics, I'm sure most of you have heard of them, but Bernardo Faria is doing all kinds of great stuff in the community. He's giving away one of his own DVDs for free. Tom DeBlas is giving away free stuff. There's massive sales all the time. There's another site called Digitsu.com, and they were giving away like 30 free titles for a while. So a lot of that's Digitsu. I'll put a link in the description box below for some of this stuff too, to give you a plug. But check out these things. You might as well take advantage of them, because a lot of people are trying to keep people engaged in jiu-jitsu, and you might as well take advantage of it while you can. Also, online learning, okay? So if you don't want to do the DVD instructional thing, there's all the powerhouse academies have their own online learning. So you could still sign up for that, again, budget permitting, but the Mendez brothers have their own, Marcelo Garcia, Atos and Andre Galvao, Eddie Bravo has his own, Boogie Martinez of the 10th Planet Freaks. You can literally pick and choose anybody you want to learn from, okay? So another great resource. Obviously the pricing varies, and again, if you can't afford that, look at splitting the cost with a couple friends. A lot of people are doing that. They're getting access, they're sharing the DVDs, they're sharing the login information. So a great way to do it. And so some people might ask me like, well, I can't drill, so what's the point, right? I get all these DVDs and I don't have a partner to drill with. Like, I live alone, so I don't have anybody to drill with, and my dog is not interested in attempting heel hooks with me. So you might say, well, what's the point? And I'll tell you from firsthand experience, setting aside some time to just watch DVDs, even if you can't drill them, again, your mind is like a muscle and it can atrophy. And I think that you need to constantly be feeding it information. And it doesn't have to be these long drawn out sessions. Spend, 15 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day watching things, okay? The strategy that I have when I go through these DVDs is that I try to watch them from a general perspective first. So I don't sit there and try to like absorb all the information. I'll sit down with a Word document and I'll just kind of make a general outline with some interesting points. That way I can sort of say, oh, I really like this section, I want to go back to that. I really like this section, I want to go back to that. And then you can choose to take sort of deeper dives into the areas that you like. Okay, so again, just being sort of around jiu-jitsu, thinking about it, watching it, I'm telling you, when you go back to the mats, if your mind is still relatively sharp, the body will catch up faster, in my opinion. So that's been something that's helped me tremendously during long layoffs with injury, and I suggest you at least give it a try. Okay, so don't feel like you have to absorb all this information. You're just not going to. It's just not going to happen, but you can still kind of keep the muscle memory going, if you will. Okay, so the fourth thing that I've been doing is staying physically active every day. And when I say that, I mean pretty much do it in any way that is physically sustainable for you. Don't just do something you despise because you think you're going to get back on the mats in a few weeks. Do something that you genuinely enjoy, okay? For me, literally the only activity I've been doing is walking my dog twice a day. That's it. 2 long walks a day has really helped sort of clear my mind. And I think no matter what it is you do, like you could, if you like kettlebell stuff, do kettlebell routines. If you want to go for a jog, go for a jog. If you want to do sprints up a hill, do sprints up a hill. If you want to do HIIT workouts, if you like grappling dummy drills, get a grappling dummy, and you could find some of that on Grappler's Guide on how to do dummy routines. Whatever it is, it just keeps your body engaged and active, okay? Because if you don't do anything physically, first of all, it's terrible for your mental health, which is not good. But also, even though it's not jiu-jitsu, it'll keep your heart strong, it'll keep your muscles engaged, and you'll be less likely to get injured when you go back. When you go back to the mats and you've been lazy and your legs are atrophied because you've been sitting with your legs kicked up on your desk watching Netflix 14 hours a day, because trust me, when you go back, everybody's going to go balls to the wall. And I already see a bunch of people on day 1 or week 1 that are going to injure themselves or blow their knee out. So do something that at least gets the blood moving. Do something that reduces stress. Do something that keeps your body mobile and functioning, because I'm telling you, it'll go a long way. Okay, and so the fifth and final thing I'll say is keep in touch with your gym family. Okay, so just because we are isolated and not able to train doesn't mean that we have to go again from 100 to 0. You know, you can still keep in touch with these people, and I think it's important mentally and emotionally. You've spent months, and in a lot of cases years and decades, building these kind of jiu-jitsu gym families, and there's no need to abandon it right now. Okay, so we're lucky with technology on our side. You know, we can repost old training pictures on Instagram, we can message each other, we can do Zoom chats, even if it's just, you know, once a week or twice a week or once every few weeks. Keep in touch with these people, because almost for the first time in my life, everybody's probably, you know, stuck doing the same thing because nobody can go anywhere. So reach out to your friends, stay in touch with those people. It's really important. The Zoom chats I thought were really lame at first, but I'm actually quite enjoying them, and by the end of them I'm actually feeling as if we, you know, hung out for a period of time. So they're really good. I know a lot of people have group chats. You can joke and exchange memes or whatever, but just try to, you know, cheer each other up as well. So even though it's socially distanced, it still can kind of foster that friendship and the bond that you've kind of built over the years, and that's important. Again, it's, you know, like your jiu-jitsu skills, that can atrophy too over time if you let it. So don't let being depressed and bummed out prevent you from at least reaching out and virtually connecting with your friends. Okay, so you can't replicate what you had in the gym. I think anybody that suggests that is lying, but we can do what we can do. Okay, so I've found that that's been really helpful. And the last thing I'll say on this is try to financially support the gym that you're a part of. This is not obviously a choice that everybody has, but if you have some money and you can contribute to the gym and continue to pay your membership, then by all means try to do it, okay? Because these are people that are trying to run a business. I have a lot of friends that I'm concerned about because they're really struggling. They have, you know, they've been running a gym for years, just keeping their head above water. They have, debts that they're running into. They have landlords that aren't giving them any breaks. And I want these places not only to survive so that, I have a place to go back to, but I want to see my friends thrive as well. I know how hard it is to run a gym. I know how hard it is to be a full-time jiu-jitsu instructor. And I've seen the work that these people put in, and I want to see them, prosper through this. I don't want to see gyms go under. Even if I'm not affiliated with them or friends with them, I still want to see people come out of this, and I want to see the sport overall still be very healthy when it's all said and done. So, okay guys, so those are the 5 things that I've been doing to try to help stay motivated and involved with jiu-jitsu. Please leave a comment below. Let me know what you've been doing. I'd love to hear how other people are getting by. If you have any questions, comments on the video, please leave them below. And if you have any further questions that you want to have me try to address in a video, you can DM me on Instagram. I'm at pfedmusic. You can leave a comment below. You can find me on Facebook. I'm all over the damn place. So I hope this video helped. I hope you got something out of it. And I'll see you guys in the next one.